Hi, welcome to my video on making bistec con cebolla y vegetales, which is a steak that I'm making with onions, peppers, tomatoes, and at the end I'm going to take this little potato and I'm going to slice it very thin and I'm going to put it in. And the secret that I have for this recipe, 1 package of ketchup. That's right, that's all you need, just 1 package of ketchup. And of course this meat I seasoned and I actually left it overnight so it could have a little bit more flavor. You could use any type of steak, really. I'm using chuck right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice these vegetables really thin, kind of julienne, and the tomatoes, and then the potato I'm going to do it really thin. I'm using 1.5 peppers. You could use more vegetables, you could use less. I love a lot of this mixture on it, so I'm going to put a lot of it. So I'm going to cut it now. Great, so this is just how we're going to cut the vegetables. You could cut them as thin as you want to stick, but I'm just going to cut them like, you see? I washed this already. Look at that, see? I put it all together in a bowl because I'm going to use that all together. Nicely. My onions, see? It's not a fancy, it's just quick. You got a good knife, you're quick with it. See that? So this is like how they're gonna be. That's how I want them, alright? That's how I'm gonna use them. The tomato the same. What I do with the tomato though is I always like to squeeze out a little bit of the seeds. There you go. I cut that as thin as I want because the tomato's actually gonna melt in this when this sauce is getting made. It's like a pepper steak. This is like a pepper steak like Ecua style. So look, try to do it as thin as you can because you want this to cook really fast when you add it. You don't want it to be marinating there forever. And the little flavor of this potato in this stew, so good, so delicious. I don't have any cilantro on me right now, but if you want, you can sprinkle some cilantro at the end of the dish. It's really up to you. If I had, I would add some. But could you believe it? My household is out of cilantro today. That is crazy. Alrighty, so look, kind of paper thin even. You see that? So that means that when your stew is halfway, you add these, and they're going to cook fast because look how skinny they are. You see that? Really skinny. And then they're going to cook, and it's going to be so tasty with all that sauce. So you've cut your vegetables, and also at this point, you should have a pan with olive oil. I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You don't want it burning hot because you're not frying, you're just sauteing a little bit. So now you add your meat. Just keep adding it. Be careful if any little oil jumps up at you. So you want it high right now because you want it to create like a tiny little bit of crust. That meat is going to marinate delicious with all the veggies in a minute. So good. See that? Nicely. You're just browning it right now. Don't walk away from it. You don't want burnt meat. Also, make sure you season your meat really well. You salt it. This one has a little bit of sofrito, a little bit of adobo, comino, and salt, pepper. That's what this one has. And some garlic that I crushed earlier. And I left it overnight so it could have more flavor. So you see right now, you're not totally cooking it. You're just letting it get brown a little bit. So in like a few minutes, you're going to add all the peppers, tomatoes, and onions. Cover it for 2 minutes, come back to it. Great, 2 minutes later, you see you're still at raw point. Right now you just turn it one more time, and then you're going to add your vegetables right on top. So right now what I do is I add my veggies. I layer them a little bit like that. Try to put little peppers towards the bottom too, because sometimes peppers take longer to cook. This is going to become all this delicious gravy. So yummy. I might have overcrowded my pan, but if you have a 12-incher, of course, go with a bigger one. But it's all going to render down, so it's going to be okay in a little bit. So you see, right there I covered it. I mean, I didn't cover it yet, but I covered it with all the vegetables. I'm going to cover it with the cover. And I'm going to put it on high, but I'm going to stay right in front of it for about 2 minutes. Then after 2 minutes, I'm going to put it at medium. And I'm going to stay right by it. And then I'll be back after like 4 minutes, okay? So there you go. Right now, cover it high. Keep looking at it. You see the juices coming up. Go 2 minutes after. Go to medium. Leave it there 2 more minutes. And then uncover it and move it around. Great. So about 4 minutes later, look at that. You see all that juice? You uncover it. At this point, also, I'll add my ketchup. Just move it around. It's only that one package. After you move the ketchup in, after you mix it around, you're going to taste for salt flavor. You might need a little more salt. It might not. It might just be perfect because I did season that meat very well. So you see what I'm doing? I'm bringing the steak from the bottom. Because I don't want that steak to cook really. I don't want it to cook anymore. I want the onions to break down now. And there you go. And I'll just move around a little bit like that, see? I'll just move it around. I'll put my steak right back on top. I'm moving it around, making sure all those veggies are mixed up in there. See that? Yummy. So now what I do is I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it on medium for about 3 more minutes. And then we'll be back. That sauce should be really nice and thick. So at this point also, remember you try it to see how the salt is. It has enough flavor. Perfect. Perfect. Be back in 2-3 minutes. Okay, so I just uncovered it. You see the onions are still raw. They're still hard. The vegetables are still hard. At this point is where you're going to add your potatoes. So remember, you cut them really thin. So you put them around. So this potato literally takes like 3 to 5 minutes to cook because it's so thin. So basically you're going to cook it for 5 more minutes. You're going to cover it. Then you're going to turn it around, move it around, and it's done. And it is so good. And this is Ecua style. Maybe stay. See, so you just do that. Yummy. Oh man. So you pair this with white rice. And even sweet plantains or a nice salad if you want. What also we do is we put a fried egg right on top. That's another thing we do in Ecuador. Yummy. So here we're back. Actually, I left it another 6 minutes. And as you can see, it's ready. Look at that. Yummy. So tasty. It's ready. Turn it off. The potato is cooked. Perfect. See that? Because you cut it so thin. So now also remember, if you cut it a little thicker, you're going to leave it longer. If you cut it super thin, super thin than I did, then you would leave it less time. Great. So here I served the delicious beef stew alongside the fried egg. As you can see, look at all those vegetables. Ooh, all that flavor. You're going to accompany that with white rice. And the fried egg is optional also. You don't have to. You could take the fried egg out and just have it like that. This dish is so good. It's Ecua style bistec. It's so yummy. And that secret, you know, is that little thing of ketchup. So let's try this. Those onions and peppers. So good. So good. And if you take a little bit of the yolk from here, you mix it with a little bit of the sauce. Oh my gosh. So good. So good. So as you can see, this is such a quick and simple recipe. It's not really fatty. You're not using a lot of fatty things. You're not frying. You're basically using the steam that is created by all those vegetables. And the steak, you could use even leaner cuts of meat. I decided to choose this one. And of course, you could leave the egg out. And you could use brown rice, which I didn't have now, but we have started to buy brown rice in this house, so you will see dishes with brown rice soon. So I hope you enjoyed this dish. It's so tasty. It's so delicious. Oh, just one of my fave and quick and easy meals that I can make. All you do is just follow the recipe and you're going to have the same outcome, and it's going to be so tasty, full of flavor, so good. Please enjoy and keep watching. Thank you.